Hello, everybody. My name is Jimmy Smith, and welcome to the Wine with Jimmy channel. This is an educational channel about everything vinous of the world, and welcome to a video on the everything that sparkles champagne. Now, this is a video designed for those of you that really want to know more in the specifics of champagne around certain topics, like this video on the production subregions that we find in the region of Champagne. It's also very much following the level 4 syllabus. So if you are studying your diploma, WSET level 4, then of course this is mightily important for you. If you do have any comments or questions, please do get in touch. You can do so by commenting on this video. Make sure you click like and subscribe. We really want to see those fingers. Okay, let's rock and roll talking about the subregions within Champagne so you get an idea of how it's broken down. Now, there are 5 major subregions of the production of champagne. The most important 3 are the Côte de Blanc, which is this green area here. Let me just see if I've got my pointer out. Yes, I have. So this green area south of Épernay, north of Épernay and heading to Reims is the Montagne de Reims. And then on the Marne River, we have the Vallée de la Marne, or the Marne Valley, this kind of yellowy area. So they are the main 3 area. Now, those 3 are home to all 17 Grand Cru villages. There are no more Grand Cru villages elsewhere in Champagne. The other 2, so the less important, is an extension of the Côte de Blanc down here called the Côte de Sézanne. And then we have the département, which sits way off to the south. So this is the one sort of really about 130 kilometers south of central Champagne, and that is the Côte de Bar, okay, which is really a real up-and-coming area and the warmest of Champagne. So that in total is our 5 areas. Let's take a closer look of them. So I'm going to show you the map each time. We're going to highlight those areas. So first of all, we are highlighting this area south of the city of Reims, remember, very important culturally, spiritually for the French, because 27 kings have been crowned in Reims. Lovely gastronomical city as well. And this is north of Épernay. So it's this area here called the Montagne de Reims. So this lies between the Marne River and then the Vesle rivers. So these 2 rivers kind of offer your topography in this area. The vineyards hug its western and northern flanks, planted in a huge semicircle. So I can scribble that so we can get a bit of an idea for that shape within this bit. So kind of like this area here, right? Let's make that a bit larger so you can see it. That area, right? In this kind of huge semicircle, that kind of backward C shape. It extends from Louvois to Villers-à-la-Rente as it goes round that whole area. So that's our location. What about a little bit closer up? So this whole green area you see here is the Montagne de Reims. So this subregion is best known for its black grape varieties, in particular Pinot Noir, and especially from the Grand Cru villages of Marne, Verzenay, Verzy, Ambonnay, and Bouzy. There are a total of 9 Grand Crus that we find within the Montagne de Reims. There you go. I'm going to underline 9 just to make that point for you. This is more than any other subregion. There's 17 in total. So 9 out of 17, of course, is more than half. Now, the mountain that it's named after, which is basically this white area, okay, so it kind of goes all the way around the slopes of this mountain. It's a bit of an exaggeration. The peak is actually only 283 meters, so it's more of a kind of hill or a wide plateau than a mountain. Unusually, some of the top villages faced north, providing very much cool climate sites, though they are more frost prone. The wines tend to have a very high acidity and are quite austere in their youth. There are also important vineyards of Chardonnay in this subregion, particularly in the villages of Trépal and Villers-Marmerie. Okay, so you are looking, Trépal is just off to the right here, as is the Villers-Marmerie as well. So they've just been cut off on this side, on the far right-hand side. The soil types here do vary, but the Grand Crus are typically on chalky soils, providing excellent balance between water retention and drainage. Okay, so that's the area of the Montagne de Reims. Now, as we head across, we're going to the far westerly point of the region, and we are talking about the Marne Valley. This extends from Tours-sur-Marne and Épinay in the east, so that's this area, all the way to the Aisne and to the limits of the Seine and Marne. So this is quite important. So it's from Tours-sur-Marne and Épinay, and it goes all the way past like Château-Thierry, for example. So 100 kilometers this stretches across the Marne and the Aisne, and it really is the largest of the areas. It has 2 cru villages which sit to the far eastern side, and that is A-Y with 2 dots on the top of it, and Tours-sur-Marne. Okay, and here you'll actually see these villages. I've actually done a close-up of part of the Marne Valley here. You'll see I is just there, so that's just to the east of Dizy, for example, and then Tours-sur-Marne is the far sort of eastern section of it, and this is both north of Épinay and the Côte de Blanc, but south of the Montagne de Reims. Plantings. So the major plantings here west of Épinay are Mernier on clay soils, but also with some marl and sand. Bud break for Mernier is later and the ripening earlier than for Chardonnay and Pinot Noir, making it very much well adapted to this frost-prone valley. So it's a useful grape variety. Chardonnay is also grown and used to blend into early drinking examples around here. The Grand Cru village of Ai is located, as I mentioned, kind of mostly towards the east. And it is also quite close to this place, which is Villiers, which is actually a Premier Cru, where, of course, Dom Pérignon was famously based and where he sort of crafted the original sort of development of viticulture in this area. So the Abbey of Villiers, as you see in that picture. Then we come to the Côte de Blanc. There you go, highlighted here to the south of Épinay. The name of this subregion, which runs at a right angle to the Vallée de la Marne, due south of Épinay, comes from the fact that it is almost exclusively devoted to Chardonnay, white grapes, but also you've got outcroppings of a lot of chalk, so it looks very white. So white grapes, white geology here. That purest form of chalk provides an excellent balance. We're talking very high percentage calcium carbonate. You get great balance between water retention and drainage. And like I said, mostly Chardonnay, about 95%, but there's also some top quality Pinot Noir, certainly in the village of Vertus in the southern section. We'll see that in a second. Vertus vineyards here in this picture. So here you are. It's this kind of slightly different shade of green, but south of Épinay, including Chuy, Cuisse, Cramont, Avize, Augère, Le Mesnil, Sur-Augère, and Vertus, and amongst others. There are 6 Grand Cru villages here. The most well-known would be Cramont, Avize, and the 2 Augères. These can produce wines of great intensity, certainly quite linear in their youth, but with great longevity and with beautiful, great ability to age. They are fabulous expressions from this area. The next one then, so we've done the three major areas. We are now looking at the two more minor areas. And we're going to focus first of all on the Côte de Sézanne, which really is, there's a little depression south of the Côte de Blanc, but then it rises again, and that's where we find the Côte de Sézanne. This is essentially a less prestigious continuation of the Côte de Blanc, separated by the marshes of Saint-Gond, and you have mostly clay silt soils here with some pockets of chalk. Picture here is the vineyards outside the town of Vallée. Plantings here would be more of Chardonnay. It's about 2/3 of plantations, but there's also a sizable proportion of Mernier, which accounts for about 20% of the plantings. The vineyards here are grown mainly on warmer southeast facing slopes, leading to more fruitier and riper grapes. The quality here is generally related just a notch below those from the three subregions that I just went through. Okay. And then finally, that district here. So nothing's highlighted in the main map here. Down to the south in the bottom right of your slide, you'll see the Aube and the Côte de Bar. So the Côte de Bar is a large area in the south found in the Aube department, and it really is a significant area in terms of Pinot Noir. Pinot Noir has about 87% of plantings here, but Chardonnay plantations are growing, and it's also home of the majority of Champagne's small pockets of historical varieties, your types of Pinot Blanc, for example, Pinot Gris, Arban, and Meslier. Together, there's 102 hectares of Pinot Blanc, which is locally called Blanc Vrai, Pinot Gris, locally called Fromentreau, Arban, and Petit Meslier. And there's been a certain interest in kind of revitalizing these grapes, and telling people that Champagne's not just about three grapes, there are in fact other ones around as well. Now, it is a noticeably different landscape down in the Aube, with climate being warmer and the soil from being different to those in the Marne department. The soils here, Kimeridian calcareous marls, are also found in nearby Chablis and Sancerre. The steep slopes and soils with stony limestone elements have excellent drainage, helping Pinot Noir to ripen nice and well. The relatively small plantings of Pinot Noir in other subregions makes this a very important source of full flavored ripe grapes to blend in to non-vintage wines. Merchants based in the north buy a lot of the Pinot Noir from here. So remember, it originally, when it was voted to join, there were riots against the Côte de Bar joining in 1911. So now I'm sure they would never riot about that again. The Côte de Bar is split into two subregions, the Bar sur Aube or Aubois, and the Bar Saint-Quanès as well, which is the Bar sur Sienne area, as you see here. So basically the northern section and the southern section. In the Bar sur Aube, there is a village of Urville, which is home to Champagne Drapier, as well as the historic Chateau de Bligny that you see in this picture, one of the only chateaux of the Champagne region. The larger area, though, in the south, the Bar sur Sienne, or the Bar Saint-Quanès, is along the Sienne River. It's named after the town of Bar sur Sienne. It's hillier, and there's some very, very steep sites in that part of the world. Okay, let's have a look at this wonderful, sparkling region. So the Champagne region lies between the 49th and 50th parallel north in terms of latitude, and we're situated about 150 kilometers east of Paris. So we're going to look at a major city. There's the regions in play there. We'll go through all of these, but let's look at the city, the cultural center of Reims, Really important city sitting to the northern part of Champagne, very famous for this beautiful cathedral, which has actually seen the coronation of 27 kings in its time. It's quite spectacular. Now let's look at the wine region that's around that. That's the Montagne de Reims. Now this lies between the Marne and Vallée rivers. It has around 9 Grand Crus, and it's not really mountainous as the name would suggest. Its highest point is only 283 meters. We're going to focus on a couple of very important cru villages. There's Bouzy, next to it is Ambonnay, very important, of course, both of these for Pinot Noir, and aptly named as well, Bouzy. And then more to the northern section, closer to Reims, is the Verzenay Grand Cru. Very important one, as well as many others. Remember, I'm just pointing out a few of the famous 9 there. Now, the next department we're going to look at is the Marne River. And this is the Marne Valley, or Vallée de la Marne, situated on the River Marne. There's the Marne River. It flows for about 515 kilometers, and it flows from the Langres area into the Seine. There in green is the Valley of the Marne, or the Marne Valley. And we're going to have a look at the 2 Grand Crus. We have I, but also Tours-sur-Marne. But there's the only one there, I. Important here as well, Auvilliers, where the abbey is situated, famous, of course, for Dom Perignon. The Marne River is famous for Mernier, as we all know. Now, below the Valley of the Marne is the White Slopes, the Côte de Blanc. This is a chalky area, as the name suggests, 95% Chardonnay here, housing 6 Grand Crus. There's 1, there's 2, that's Cramont, Avize. So we're going to look at these a little bit closer, and then we're going to pan down through a few others. So there's Cramont. Next, remember, was Avize. And then we will also move on to Augère, as you'll see in the background. And then also L'Herménil-sur-Augère in the background just there as well. So this is just 4 of the 6 Grand Crus found within the Côte de Blanc. Now, if you follow this area south, there is what we call the Saint-Gendre Marshes, and that's kind of like a separation. And then just below that is the Côte de Sézanne area, and there it is on your map. So kind of an extension separated by those marshes, famous for more Chardonnay. Then in the south, past the city of Troyes, is the Côte de Bar. About 23% of Champagne is actually here, and of that, 87% is Pinot Noir. This is a biodynamic hotspot as well as a Pinot Noir hotspot. There you are for the main areas. There are others, but the main areas found within Champagne. Okay, that brings me to a conclusion looking at the sub-regions of Champagne. I hope you've enjoyed them. If you wish to keep on learning about Champagne through these videos and in this depth, then part 7 is next on the grape varieties, but it is only available to those of you that sign up to the Wine with Jimmy portal over at www.winewithjimmy.com. And that goes with every video following this one, 7 to 11. If you have any comments or questions, once again, if you've perhaps visited Champagne, you've been to these sub-regions, you've stayed in places like the Aube or Troyes, or you've been around the Marne Valley or up to Reims or Épernay, please get in touch with your experiences. Do you like Champagne? Have you tried some lovely champagnes? Do you drink champagne for breakfast when you have your salmon and your scrambled eggs? I hope you do. Well, my name's been Jimmy Smith. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope to see you soon on another video. Ciao for now. Goodbye.